Part 6. Carl Jung. Man and his symbols. For instance, a patient of mine dreamed of a drunken and disheveled vulgar woman. In the dream, it seemed that this woman was his wife, though in real life, his wife was totally different. On the surface, therefore, the dream was shockingly untrue, and the patient immediately rejected it as dream nonsense. If I, as his doctor, had let him start a process of association, he would inevitably have tried to get as far away as possible from the unpleasant suggestion of his dream. In that case, he would have ended with one of his staple complexes. A complex, possibly, that had nothing to do with his wife. And we should have learned nothing about the special meaning of this particular dream. What then was his unconscious trying to convey by such an obvious, untrue statement? Clearly, it somehow expressed the idea of a degenerate female who was closely connected with his wife's life. But since the projection of the image on his wife was unjustified and factually untrue, I had to look elsewhere before I found out what his repulsive image represented. In the Middle Ages, long before physiologists, physiologists, physiologists demonstrated that by reason of our glandular structure, there are both male and female elements in all of us. It was said that every man carries a woman within himself. It is this female element in every male that I have called the anima. This feminine aspect is essentially a certain inferior kind of relatedness to the surroundings, and particularly to women, which is kept carefully concealed from others as well as from oneself. In other words, though an individual's visible personality may seem quite normal, he may well be concealing from others, or even from himself, the deplorable condition of the woman within. That was the case with the particular patient. His female side was not nice. His dream was actually saying to him, "You are in some respects behaving like a degenerate female," and thus gave him an appropriate shock. An example of this kind, of course, must not be taken as evidence that the unconscious is concerned with moral injunctions. The dream was not telling the patient to behave better, but was simply trying to balance the lopsided nature of his conscious mind, which was maintaining the fiction that he was a perfect gentleman throughout. It is easy to understand why dreams tend to ignore and even deny the message of their dreams. Why dreamers tend to ignore and even deny the message of their dreams. Consciousness naturally resists anything unconscious and unknown. I have already pointed out the existence among primitive peoples of what anthropologists call misonism. Misoneism. Misoneism. A deep and superstitious fear of novelty. The primitive manifests all the reactions of the wild animal against untoward events. But civilized man reacts in new ideas in much the same way, erecting psychological barriers to protect himself from the shock of facing something new. This can easily be observed in any individual's reactions to his own dreams when obligated to admit a surprising thought. Many pioneers in philosophy, science, and even literature have been victims of the inmate conservatism of their contemporaries. Psychology is one of the youngest of the sciences because it attempts to deal with the working of the unconsciousness. It has inevitably encountered Minotaur in an extreme form. That's it for today. Yeah.